Hello everybody, it's Tina Stitches. I have decided to record a Stitch with Me video. I hope the angle is okay. I do tend to stitch with two hands whenever possible, so the angle might not be the greatest, but we'll work on it. Today I am working on Jardin Prive Alice pattern, and I am down here in the corner doing the teacup. So I thought that I would just talk about why I stitch Alice in Wonderland patterns. I guess I should tell you today is Tuesday, February 6th. It is 8 p.m. I have come home from work, had my dinner, had my coffee, crisp hot chocolate, and am just relaxing. I just finished watching a little bit of Floss Tube and decided I better get doing this. No better time than the present. So anyways, I was saying I stitch Alice in Wonderland patterns. I don't have a little girl, so I'm not stitching it for a little girl. I stitched them for myself. And the reason for that is a couple years ago when the most recent retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and of course I'm talking about the Johnny Depp movie. When it first came out, I had a birthday party that year, or it might have been the following year, but it was still a big thing. And it was a milestone birthday, and I asked my husband, what do you think about a theme birthday party? And he's like, that depends on the theme. And I said, Alice in Wonderland. And he said, only if I get to be the Mad Hatter. And I was like, okay. Yep. I was absolutely shocked that he was on board with it. And I grabbed that opportunity just like that. And so my birthday is in July, so it was about January when we started planning, and it took about 6 months, and nobody else knew. It was a surprise. I was throwing a surprise party for the other people. Yeah. So nobody else knew what the theme was. They didn't even know that there was a theme. They just knew it was a party at Tina's. And everybody was quite surprised, and we had a blast planning it. There was so much going on. There was, my husband had made a signpost that had old pieces of board on it that had This Way and Rabbit Hole and Tea Party and all kinds of directions on it. He had that put at the end of the driveway. And we even bought a party tent, 10 by 30 party tent. Now this was just we don't have big parties. So there was about a dozen people, but it was still great fun. We had a croquet set up where we bought plastic flamingos and attached them to the croquet sticks, and we had prizes, and it was a lot going on. There was a giant teacup, there was giant table set up with teapots, and inside the teapots it was an adult party. It wasn't tea in those teapots, it was mixed drinks. So, and drinking out of teacups and with little silver spoons, and my husband, I didn't even know this, but my husband had went to a local baker, not a she's a baker out of her house. She's just this little old lady, but she did a great job. She made a birthday cake that was it was all wibbly wobbly, and we had a key game where I had my husband print up some name tags, and everybody's name was backwards. So for instance, my name was Anit, and I had to wear that name tag, and everybody had to call everybody else by their backwards name, and if they said their proper name, they had their key necklace, which I had great fun making a whole bunch of those. I ordered a bunch of antique looking keys off of Etsy, and I made a bunch of necklaces with them. Everybody got a necklace, and at the end of a certain time period, we took this old alarm clock, set the alarm, and after an hour of playing croquet, and by the way, when you're playing croquet, don't play with somebody who plays golf, because they're going to win all the time. Anyways, so the person who ended up with the most keys won a prize. The person who won the croquet game won a prize. And the prizes that I had bought were things like the Alice in Wonderland movie, the Disney version, the cartoon version, like that version, and soundtracks and some children's books, and the actual book were all prizes. And we had a prize left over at the end, and for that one I told them the first person to get I can't remember what it was, but it was a pretzel stick. It was supposed to be a witch's finger or something like that. And I had these jars laid out with all these things with pretzel sticks. Was the witch's finger, whatever it was. And so the first person that grabbed that got the prize. And I had made props, other props, such as I made a hat that has an Alice theme, and I made a hat that has a Queen of Hearts theme. I thought there was a knot back there. And when people started showing up, I started letting them pick their costume to wear. And I made my husband the Mad Hatter's hat. And all of these things that I had grabbed materials from the thrift store. I went to the local Salvation Army and had a look at their old dresses, and I found one that was red, like a rusty red velvet, but it was only a piece about that big at the top of the smock of the dress. The rest of it was this red lace, and I used that to make the Queen of Hearts hat. It's a beautiful hat. I have them displayed in my craft room now. If you've seen my videos, you might see them in the background. Once in a while, I move stuff around. But yeah, and it was so much fun. I'm just trying to count here. Yeah. And we had feather boas, and I even had a hat. I went to yard sales and I was buying up stuffed rabbits, and I chopped off the ears and attached them to hats, and I made like steampunk hat with rabbit ears sticking out of it. Giant. I took a scarf and I tied it in a big bow, and I made a giant bow tie out of it. We printed off recipe cards for Alice in Wonderland inspired cocktails, and we had a bar set up, and I think only one person actually went up to that and mixed drinks off of the recipe cards, because there was the pre-mixed drinks in the teapots. And oh, and then I got these little glass jars, and I have these. I use them now for larger jewelry beads, but they're spice jars, and I bought 2 other sizes of spice. Well, they're just glass jars with the cork top, and we put sourpuss, peach, raspberry, and there was three different flavors. And sourpuss is like a really sour, it's a liquor, and you usually just drink it straight. We usually just drink it straight. It's like a schnapps almost kind of thing, but it's sour. But so we filled up these spice jars and these other little glass jars, and I had some little tags, and we, in calligraphy, we wrote "Drink Me" on all these tags, and we attached them to these jars, and we had them on trays on the table. And it was whenever you wanted a shot, you just go over to the tray and you took a little container and drank it. Apple, that was the other one, sour apple. Yeah, so it was a crazy party. I don't, to be honest, I don't really remember much of the party. I just remember all of the planning and all the excitement and I mean, we had fun, obviously, because it was fun. And everybody was totally surprised. They had no idea. So now, whenever my birthday rolls around, my husband gets me jewelry, a necklace or something with this pendant that's just it's got that Alice in Wonderland feel to it. So he gets me those, and he got me a bracelet one year with writing on it with an Alice in Wonderland with the Drink Me bottle. So it's kind of become a thing now, and I was trying to stitch an Alice in Wonderland pattern, one a year since then, but it's been 4 years and this is the second pattern. So it hasn't quite worked out, but it's still good times. This pattern, I am subbing out some of the flosses for over dyed. Not all of them. I've used that one for the dress. That's cool as well. Morning Glory is for the glass dome. Chives for one of the shades of the leaf. And this one here Rose Quartz and Organza Pink was for the pinks down here, and it was supposed to be for this flower too. The flower has 2 shades of pink, and I thought there was going to be enough difference in these 2. And then I went to do the second shade there, and it was too similar. You couldn't tell the difference. So I think I'm just going to go with the darker shade, or with what the pattern calls for. I'll have to look at it and see how that color will look. But I did use these down here. And the red, this red, I got 2 skeins. So that's cranberry, and this is the Valdani. I'll try to open this. That's for his jacket. His jacket's actually striped, but you can't tell with the shades that they used. So that's the plan. So this was originally a Mania start, and I had put it away for a while, and then Bendy Stitchy and Lisa the Silver Stitcher and Minnie and McKenna were all doing Rose, Mademoiselle Rose, and they were doing a stitch along, and I had tagged along as a Jardin Prive throwdown Sal. And they, all but McKenna, have finished their Jardin Prive pieces, and I'm just, this is a bigger piece than it looks. But I'm also working on Beloved and my dad's stocking and other projects. So I think I'll get it done before my birthday in July. Who knows what we'll get this year. I know I have a couple of big Jardin Alice and Wonderland patterns, and I want to start one of those. Maybe I'll start one for my birthday. Just because. I don't know if I'm going to have enough thread to finish this. And you can tell my nails. Weather is dry. Very, very dry up here. My brother-in-law was a meteorologist, and he's told us that our winter up here is so dry, it's drier than the Sahara. So take from that what you will, but it's dry. The air is very dry. We might have 2 feet of snow out there, but there's no humidity in the air. None at all. It's constant. The constant temperature is at least 10 degrees below freezing. So, I think that that's all I'm going to do for now. I'm going to upload this and see how that goes. Hope you enjoyed stitching with me and hearing about my adventure birthday party. And I will try to dig up some pictures that will show you what I mean. I'm just trying to think of which pictures I have that don't have people in it, because I don't have permission from the other people to post their photos. So I will see what I can put together, and I'll try to add that at the end. But for now, I'm going to put on more floss tube and stitch some more on this.